welcome back to my channel. So today I'm starting a new series on my channel where I'm going to go through all the women of wrestling and go through their career from start to finish and kind of like what they're up to now, their whole WWE career. So today I'm starting with Kelly, who was one of my all-time favourites. I absolutely love her, and I just thought she would be a fun one to kick this series off with. So that's who we're going to be talking about today. So along with talking about their careers, I'm also going to do an eye look based on their wrestling gear. So for Kelly, when I picture her, I always picture her in the hot pink ring gear with the like rhinestones, the kind of like gems, from when she defended Edge's World Heavyweight title. So that's the look we're going to be going with today. I'm just going to leave any products that I use in the description because that's not what this video is about. But I did just want to mention I'm going to be using the Conspiracy palette because this colour here literally looks exactly like it. So Kelly is obviously a stage name. Her real name is Barbara Jean Blank. She was born on January 15th, 1987 in Jacksonville, Florida. To make it like easier in the video, I'm just going to call her Kelly, even though her name is Barbie, but just for like the purposes of this video I'm just going to call her Kelly because I feel like that's just easier. Her and her dad used to watch wrestling together all the time. That was kind of their thing that they did together. She started entering into gymnastics competitions when she was 6, and that was something that she really enjoyed. And then she went into modelling, and she had like an agency and a manager, but she just kind of felt like that wasn't what she really wanted to do. She wasn't sure what she wanted to do, but she knew that she wanted to entertain. And then I think it was John Laurinaitis from the WWE actually saw her and really liked her look and contacted her manager to see if she wanted to come and try out. So I think she went down to Ohio Valley Wrestling and tried out, and they offered her a contract. It might have changed now, but at the time she was the youngest person to be offered a WWE contract. She was only 19, and she had no prior wrestling experience. So once they'd signed her, she started training at OVW. She made her debut on June 13th, 2006 on an episode of ECW. Her original character was an exhibitionist, so she would kind of like come out and do dances and striptease for the crowd, and then her boyfriend in the storyline, Mike Knox, would come out and would play the role of the jealous boyfriend and would like come in and get her to cover up so she couldn't finish her like dance routine thing, which is so crazy. Can you even imagine them doing that now? Like, oh my goodness. Women's wrestling has come a very long way since then, thank god. I'm pretty sure Vince actually came up with the name Kelly. Like, he offered her a few different names and she chose Kelly. So for that first episode she was just Kelly, and then they changed it and made it Kelly. So the segment was called Kelly's Expose, and then after a while they started to progress in the storyline and he became even more possessive and would make her accompany him to the ring so that he could like keep an eye on her. And this then got her involved in Mike Knox's feud with Tommy Dreamer and Sandman, and it actually resulted her getting hit with a kendo stick. I watched her in an interview and she said that it hurt really bad. So then on August 22nd she actually made her in-ring debut, and it was in a 6-man tag match against Tommy Dreamer, Sandman and Tori Wilson, which they actually ended up losing. Then she progressed into a storyline with CM Punk where she would flirt with him and watch his matches, and obviously Mike Knox didn't like this, and they ended up having a match, Mike Knox and CM Punk, and she cheered for CM Punk, which led to a mixed tag match between Ariel and Kevin Thorne and Kelly and Mike Knox. He refused to tag in and actually left her. So then she had her first ever singles match on the next episode of ECW, and it was against Ariel, and she ended up winning that match. And then Mike Knox came out with flowers, but he ended up doing his signature move on her, which gave her a scripted injury, so she was off TV for 6 weeks. She then returned on January 16th, 2007, and she brought back Kelly's Expose. Then with that return came Extreme Expose, which was a team of her, Layla and Brooke, and they would do a kind of similar thing of performing for the crowd, kind of like little dance routines, that kind of thing. Extreme Expose had their segment on ECW for a few months. Kelly and the group were also in one of Timbaland's music videos with Ashley and Tori Wilson and Maurice. So they weren't really doing much wrestling, just more like segment based things and entertainment. But then in November, Brooke ended up being released from her WWE contract, so the group just kind of dissolved, and Kelly and Layla went into a rivalry, which meant that they had more actual wrestling. On October 29th, she actually won a battle royal on Raw, which meant that she got her first ever shot at the women's title, and it was against Beth Phoenix, but obviously she didn't end up winning it. She made her first ever appearance in a WWE game in SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, where she was part of the ECW roster, and she was actually the only woman from ECW to be included in the game. Oh my goodness. Her feud with Layla continued, and they actually faced off at Survivor Series in a 10-women tag match. Kelly's team was actually herself, Tori Wilson, Maria, Michelle McCool and Mickie James. Kelly's team ended up winning. Kelly's last kind of like big match while part of ECW was a Backlash, but she ended up losing. It was a 5-on-5 women's match. So in July, Kelly was moved to Raw. Kelly is now on Raw! And she made her debut teaming with Mickie James to defeat Layla and Jillian Hall. From there, she became involved in a feud with Beth Phoenix, and they had quite a few matches against each other, some tag matches. And then after that, she went on to feud with Jillian Hall, who was like a friend of Beth Phoenix at the time. She was featured in SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, but she was on the ECW roster, even though she was moved to Raw earlier in the year. At Survivor Series that year, she was part of the Victoria's team in a 5-on-5 elimination match. She actually ended up eliminating Victoria before she was eliminated by Maurice. Then at the next pay-per-view, which was Armageddon, she teamed up with Maria, Michelle McCool and Mickie James, and ended up winning that match against Jillian Hall, Maurice, Victoria and Natalia. Then her next big kind of opportunity came on Raw when she won a battle royal, which meant that she could challenge Maurice for the Divas Championship. She did, and she actually won by disqualification, but Maurice retained her title. I think it was in June. She also competed in a fatal 4-way for another shot at the championship, but Mickie James actually ended up winning that. So then kind of like for the rest of 2009, she had a few more like title opportunities, but she wasn't successful in any of them. Then at the Bragging Rights pay-per-view, she actually represented Team Raw along with Melina and Gail Kim. But they ended up losing to Team SmackDown, which was Beth Phoenix, Natalia and Michelle McCool. At the time, WWE really loved a good 5 team 3, you know, like Divas tag match. They just weren't about having women's single matches, you know, on pay-per-views. It's like, okay. Then the next one was the Survivor Series. They did another, surprise 5-on-5 elimination match, and Kelly's team won. She eliminated Layla before she was eliminated by Beth Phoenix. So then in January of 2010, Melina had to vacate her title because of an injury, and Kelly took part in a tournament to win it, but she was eliminated in the first round by Alicia Fox. Throughout early 2010, she was kind of just involved in like backstage segments with like the guest hosts of Raw and things like that. So then at WrestleMania 26, we had, surprise surprise, another Diva tag match. Her team was Beth Phoenix, Gail Kim, Eve and Mickie James. They actually ended up losing this match to Layla, Michelle McCool, Maurice, Vicky Guerrero and Alicia Fox. The following night on Raw, they actually did the same match again, but Kelly's team was victorious this time. The week after that, 10 Divas took part in a Dress to Impress Battle Royale for a chance to face Maurice for the title, but the match was won by Eve. So teamed up with Tiffany for a little while. She actually got a women's championship match that year at Money in the Bank, but she wasn't able to win, and she actually never ended up winning the women's championship at all. So in September, she became, throughout the second half of 2010, she kept feuding with Michelle McCool and Layla, and she actually gained a partner in Natalia. Again, she was featured in SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 as part of the SmackDown roster. And then in November, Naomi actually ended up coming second place in NXT. In January of 2011, Vicky Guerrero was the acting general manager of SmackDown, and during the Royal Rumble she tried to interfere with Edge and Dolph Ziggler in their match for the World Heavyweight Championship, and Kelly came out and stopped her, which kind of started their feud on SmackDown, which is one that I remember so clearly. That was from when I was watching SmackDown every week, and I absolutely loved their feud. I thought it was so good. The following week on SmackDown, they did a 3 vs 2 handicap match, and it was Lay Cool and Dolph Ziggler versus Edge and Kelly for Edge's World Heavyweight Championship, and Kelly ended up winning that match, which I think makes her the only woman to have ever defended the World Heavyweight Championship. And that was obviously the match where she wore the gear that's based on this look. And after that she got fired. And I remember being so upset when Vicky Guerrero fired her. I was like, no, she's literally my favourite. Later that month at the Elimination Chamber, Teddy Long was now the manager of SmackDown, and he rehired Kelly. And obviously she made her return by attacking Vicky Guerrero, but then she was stopped by Lay Cool, who then was stopped by Trish Stratus. So that was a really cool moment. Then that next episode of SmackDown, it was Edge and Kelly versus Vicky Guerrero, and if they won, Vicky would be fired. They ended up winning, and that kind of finished that storyline. In April, Kelly was drafted back to Raw. She received a bit of a push and started feuding with the Bella Twins. In May, at the Over the Limit pay-per-view, she actually challenged Brie for her title, but Brie retained. In the following month, there was a special episode called Power to the People, and it was actually really cool. You could text in to vote for like who you wanted to compete in matches and stuff like that. It was a match for the Divas Championship against Brie. Kelly ended up winning the vote, and she also ended up winning the Divas title that night as well, which was so amazing, like for someone who was such a huge fan of hers and had followed her like career for quite a long time. She'd been in the WWE at that point for 5 years, and to kind of see where she'd come from doing like Kelly's expose and all that stuff to winning the championship, that was, I think, a really special moment.
This is my first ever Divas Championship, and I'm so excited. I promise to make everybody so proud.
And she actually won a Slammy for most Divalicious moment. I think it was for when she won her title.
Kelly!
Oh my gosh, you guys!
So she had her first title defense at Money in the Bank against Brie Bella, and she managed to retain the title. In August, Beth Phoenix won a battle royal for the opportunity to face Kelly for her title. After she won, she actually attacked Kelly, and their kind of feud from before like all kicked off again. And Kelly ended up defending her title against Beth Phoenix twice, once at Night of Champions and then again at SummerSlam. Kelly finally lost the championship to Beth Phoenix at Hell in a Cell. She finished with a title run of 104 days. She had a couple more matches like on SmackDown and like tables, ladders and chairs to win it back, but she never managed to. Again, she was featured in WWE 12 on the Raw roster. Then she spent kind of like early 2012 just in a few tag matches. She didn't really have a lot going on. At WrestleMania 28 she had a tag match where her partner was Maria. They ended up winning the match. It was against Beth Phoenix and Eve. In June she kind of had some time off and then came back in August. Then on September the 28th 2012 she was actually released from her WWE contract. She just kind of said that she had been there for like 7 years now, and she just kind of wanted to take some time for herself and just do some other things. Her last WWE game appearance was on WWE 13, again as part of the Raw roster. I really wish they would bring her back in one of the 2K games, especially considering like that she was in the Royal Rumble, but you know, she's just one that I'd love to see, even if she was just DLC. She did kind of like a couple of independent wrestling shows, but nothing really major, and she didn't return to wrestling full time. And then in 2015 she was cast in a show called Wags. So it was just kind of like your typical reality show. It just followed around the wives and girlfriends of athletes. So she was in that. It ran for 3 seasons and she was in all of them. I remember like seeing the adverts for it. I really wanted to watch it, but it wasn't on in the UK yet. And then by the time it was on in the UK, I don't know why, I just never really got around to watching it. I've seen a few clips online, but it kind of just centered around like her wedding and just that whole like typical reality show drama stuff. And while that show was going on, Instagram was really taking off and becoming really big, and Kelly started getting offers from brands to be like a brand ambassador, to you know, for like fashion and stuff, to wear their clothes and show her style. So that was something that she really enjoyed. Kelly then made her first official acting debut on Wags. You actually got to see her go to the audition. It was for Days of Our Lives, and she ended up playing a waitress. And then she made a little return to WWE just by doing a backstage like interview thing for the WWE's official website. That was February 2017.
I haven't been back in 4 years, and so to see everybody that I used to work with and get to see the fans has been super exciting.
She then appeared again at WrestleMania weekend at the Hall of Fame induction, and she did an episode of Table for 3 on the WWE Network. She made another return to WWE on the 25th anniversary of Raw as one of Raw's historic women. She then also competed in the first ever Women's Royal Rumble, which was so cool, seeing her back, and Tori, Trish, Lita. I love that Royal Rumble, I watch it all the time. She entered at number 19 and she was eliminated by Nia Jax. And Wags LA actually ended up being cancelled in February of 2018. And in May of 2018 she made an appearance at a show called House of Hardcore, where she made like a surprise appearance and she helped Chelsea Green win. Then in October of 2018 she participated in the first ever all-women's pay-per-view, Evolution. She was in the Battle Royal and she ended up being eliminated by Mandy Rose. Outside of WWE, she then became a co-founder of a charity. It's called, I just want to get this right, I hope this is right, Cure Glioblastoma, and it's a type of brain cancer. It's sadly the one that her dad passed away from, so that's something that's like really important to her, and I think that's really special for her to create this charity and to do all this work to raise awareness. In July 2019 she made another appearance on Raw, where she pinned Gerald for the 24/7 championship. So she became the first woman to win it, but then she also became the first woman to hold the Divas championship and the 24/7 championship. Then she lost it to Candice Michelle. She made her movie debut in a film called Disturbing the Peace in 2020, and her most recent appearance was at the Royal Rumble 2020. She entered at number 21 but was eliminated by Charlotte Flair. She then had a backstage segment with Street Profits on the Raw after that, but that is it. I mean, obviously that was still this year and before quarantine, so she could still make another WWE appearance. When she like retired, like officially back in 2012, I think she was only like 25 or something like that. I would love to see Kelly make a reappearance. I would love to see her have a comeback. So you know, maybe in the future. She does keep making these little appearances and she always gets such a great reaction from the crowd as well, so fingers crossed she will come back. I would love to see her, you know, be able to really thrive in the women's division that they have created there and the opportunities that they have now. To see her be able to win more championships and do more matches and all that. So that's the finished look, inspired by her ring gear. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If there's anyone that you really want to see me cover, then let me know. Next on my list I've got like a whole list of like Tori Wilson, Alicia Fox, Becky Lynch, a whole list of them. But if there's anyone that you really want to see, then let me know. My Kelly figure up there, but it took me so long to get them all to stand up. I'm not going to bring her down here. I love Kelly so much, like, oh my gosh, I love Kelly so much. She was just like, she was everything to me as a kid. Like, I absolutely loved her. And we went to see Raw, well, we went to see WWE live, and when her music hit and she came out, I was literally like beside myself. Like, I said to my friend Miranda, like, I really want to see Kelly, and when she came out I was like, it was just so amazing. Like, she was such an inspiration to me, to see someone who was so strong and like beautiful on TV. Crazy. Absolutely love her. Yeah, so she's got two different eye colours. Yeah, but she was, I remember when I got her, she was from Tesco, and she was literally the only one on the shelf, and I'd never seen a Kelly before, and she was like my first ever diva, so I had to get her. But I want more figures of her. But yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.